Okay, so introduction to the call stack. So what do you think how the call stack is getting created in JavaScript? So the call stack is, by the name of it, you know that it is just a stack, right? So it will just be a stack, and each operation that you perform. So since we know that JavaScript can do only one thing at a time, so it will just uh, like put in the operations inside the stack. So first operation is declare the result, declare the display method. So once that declaration is done, the this particular action will be removed from the call stack. So always understand that the call stack, the element that is at the top, which will basically identify where our code is right now. Okay, so let's say there are two items at in my call stack. That time it is will be knowing that the code our currently our code is executing this command. Okay, so this kind of behavior will happen when, let's say, I declared a display method. It went ahead, stored it in the memory, then the call stack is empty again, right? So when the call stack is empty, now when the call stack is empty, now it is ready for execution of the next statement. The next statement is what? Let result equal to display. So what would happen? We will have another item created in our call stack, which will say result equal to display. Now, display is what? Display is a method, right? So since display is a method, it will now not clear this stack. It will not clear this item from the stack. It will add another item into the stack. Okay. Now at this point, it is inside the display method and trying to execute whatever is there inside the display. So what is there inside the display? We can declare data equal to an empty object that is declared, then gets popped out, and then we have return data. So what, let's say instead of return data, I write 8. So once I return 8, this item gets cleared out. Then this display value will be replaced by 8. And once all this has happened, the call stack will be empty again. So this is how your basic call stack would work in the JavaScript. And another thing that I want to point out is the JavaScript functions, like internally, they are all objects. Everything inside JavaScript is basically an object itself, right? So even if I write it, declare it as function, it will still have the properties of an object, and hence it will do everything that an object can do, right? So you can pass an object inside as a functional argument, right? You can pass a function as you can return a function. Everything, all those things we are able to do in JavaScript because the JavaScript has the function has the properties of an object. So we can do whatever we can do with the object, we can do with the same thing with the functions as well. So these are the basic things that I want to point out, like before we get into the core stuff, right? So this is a very basic thing, and everyone needs to know at least this much when you are working with the JavaScript. That JavaScript is single-threaded. It can do only one thing at a time, and it can do only two operations. It can execute the code line by line, and it can save whatever the item that we want to save in the memory. That will be saved in the memory, like I showed in the execution context. Okay, so the execution context is basically depicting the same thing. Like when you are inside the function will have its own execution context. It will have its own memory where if I declare anything inside the function, it will get initialized under this part. And once I return anything from the function, it will basically, if we want to show it by an arrow, I would show it like this. So whenever this is done executing, it will just return everything, and whatever the data that is generated, it will be placed on it is latching onto something else, but yeah, it will be basically replaced in the memory. Okay, so whatever is returned, it is applied in the memory, and hence we will be able to execute hence the thread of execution would be completely showing that what line our code is.